The affirmation that is kicking off this amazing episode is I am worthy of celebrating the wins in my life. Absolutely and hands down. This affirmation is by Walker & Walker Enterprises. And as always, if you'd like your 40 deck of affirmation cards, go ahead and grab them at lolitawalker.com/shop. It's a different type of podcast episode, y'all. I've had some lows and some highs. I've had some ups and some downs. I've had some smiles and some tears. I've had some struggles and some fears. I've been driving Lolita's change train with a few detours along the way. But come on in, 43. I am ready to hear what you have to say. Listen, I packed my virtual smile and I am here to welcome all of you to grab a seat. Let's get this thing going. Because in a few days, I'm going to be marching to a 43 type of beat. Thanks for allowing me on your journey and thanks for being a part of mine. Let's get this thing going right now.
This is Aubrey.
This is Austin.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Auntie Love. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my gosh, another year on this wonderful earth. Happy birthday, Lolita E. Walker.
Okay, folks, if you're listening, happy birthday, Lolita.
Happy birthday and many, many more. I love you, darling. This is Grandma B.
Sometimes in life, you are presented with people, opportunities, ideas that change you. For me, I had the opportunity to meet Lolita years ago. Was always amazed by her radiant smile, style, and personality, and have grown so much from what she's taught and what she's modeled. Today, we celebrate her in true Lolita style, which is really to bring other people together. For that, we say thank you for being the light so brightly that others can then lead in their own light. Happy birthday.
Is this thing on?
Hey, this is Lolita. It's a different type of podcast episode, y'all, and I am too excited. I am sharing some of my fears, tears, trials, and tribulations today. And of course, sprinkling in a couple of wins along the way, thanks to each of you. Ooh, I'm so excited.
Hey, y'all. This is Jay Smiles of Parenting Up Caregiving Adventures with comedian Jay Smiles podcast.
My name is Tina Shattuck, and I'm with Women Hold the Key.
This is Alan Boomer, the managing partner of Momentum Advisors in New York City.
Hello, Lolita. It's Trip.
Hey, Lo, this is Vonda.
Hey, Big Sis, this is JD.
Hey, Mommy, it's your favorite son, Walker.
This is your mother leaving you birthday wishes.
Is this thing on? Hello, sunshine, because that is what you are. Lolita, this is JY. Adam loves you. Mwah. Love you. Smooches.
Guess what? I am turning 43 in only a few more days. It was November 1st in 1977 that God gave me breath to live this life, this one right here. And for that, I am forever grateful. You know, I am always here for a celebration. And today is an extra special day because in today's show, I am releasing control. I am turning the tables to sit on the other side of coaching, cocktails, and conversations. Now, for those of you who are regulars, welcome back. I am so excited to have you here. I know your comfortable chair is already pulled up. And for those of you all who are new, hey, and welcome. You know, typically we break each episode into 3 layers, and I'm telling you this so that you know that when you come back, exactly what to expect. The first layer is coaching. Now, this is where I gift you a little bit of soul work just to challenge your thinking a little bit. Next, there are cocktails. Now, this isn't about what you are sipping on. Nope. This instead is about celebrating your wins. It's about celebrating the greatness that you are whenever, wherever, and however you show up to any table, not just this one. And then finally, there are conversations. Now, this is where it's either you and I, or I have a special invited guest. And today, we are doing things a little bit different because we're not going to break it out into sections, although we're going to hit each. Don't you worry. I am releasing control, y'all. Now, for a Scorpio woman like myself, who is an engineer and a lover of all things operations, this right here is scary. This pushes me outside of my comfort zone, but it's that kind of push where I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm still kind of nervous, right? You been there before? So today, my line sister, Carla B, is taking over. My heart is pitter-pattering just a little bit. You ever had one of those friends that holds your feet to the fire and they care enough about you not to care what your response is going to be when they tell you something. Well, that is her, okay? That is my Carla B. She is one of my biggest cheerleaders. She's my line sister of the Alpha Delta chapter of Morgan State University, and I love her to pieces. When I asked her if she would interview me, there was no hesitation. And I am looking so forward to this. Y'all ready? Because I am too. Here is to episode number 15, Turning the Tables, Lolita's Road to 43.
I'm glad you tuned in today to the birthday episode so you can get hip to my big sis. All the way from the Bean to the Mean DC, saying happy birthday to you, boo. Shouts out to Coaches, Cocktails, and Conversations. Did I just make it up? Right? Yeah. Courtney B on the MIC from HerVisionMedia. You know what they say. If you ain't tuned in to Lolita, then A. That might have been way whack. But what I'm basically trying to say in so many words is this is like my 20th time trying to record something. So we just going to go with it.
You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Coaching, Cocktails, and Conversations with Lolita E. Walker, the podcast that coaches you up while meeting you exactly where you are. Grab your water, tea, or something stronger, and allow this podcast to help you feel the power in your pause. Come on in and join the conversation. Let's go. Hey, Carla, how are you today?
Hey, Lolita, how are you, my dear?
I am so fine. I'm kind of nervous. I was telling the folks before you got here, just a little bit nervous about flipping the tables.
You know, sometimes you got to flip those tables to see what's on the other side.
I'm ready.
To know a little bit about Carla B. Carla has been friends with Lolita since, 1996?
Yeah.
I am a Morgan graduate. That's where we met. I am an educator. I identify with many hats, work with elementary school children, a mother of teenagers. That is my role. I am active in my church. I am active in my sorority. Go Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Today, I am the friend who is here to ask the question.
See, y'all hear that in her voice. This right here is why I got a little bit nervous, y'all.
Miss Lolita Walker, I have some questions for you. What was it that made you want to share this type of episode with your listeners?
As I journeyed to 43, my birthday was coming up and I'm thinking, what's the topic going to be? And I said to myself, I'm always telling people to celebrate their wins. Although I have the cocktails portion where we celebrate wins, I hadn't had anything that was really about my journey and to bring people into the fold of who I am and how I got to this place. This episode is about Lolita's journey to 43. And this is where we can ask questions that listeners have written in. This is where we can have our own little dialogue. And this is where I can have a little bit more fun. And I love it.
Yes, I love it too. When we talked offline, you mentioned that this being your 15th episode recording in the month of October is significant. Why?
Yes. My father passed away of cancer and he was born in October. So this is his birthday month. He was born on the 15th day of the month. For episode 15, I just think that this is so timely. I just say how proud he would be.
Absolutely. And I've known personally the type of impact he's had on you. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
I'm so emotional right now. You know, my dad passed away 7 years ago. And I still get this nostalgic feeling. Sometimes his voice comes across and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Because I already know what Emmanuel Walker would be saying about that. Although my mom is here and she's so much amazing support for me, they each play specific roles. She tells me all the time how proud he would be of me.
There is so much ambition, determination, and willpower that comes from you each day that brings your father to mind. He is looking down, showing his deep dimples, smiling, and giving you worldly advice.
As I listen to my aunts and I hear their Jamaican accent.
Lolita, wonderful 43 years and enjoy it, girl.
Hey, this is Aunt Kay. May God continue to bless you and keep you in his care. I know your dad is looking down on you and he's proud and so am I.
I hear the guidance that they give to me throughout my journey. It's just a huge reminder of how amazing my father is and the peace of him that will always be with me.
Lolita, hi, this is Aunt Joy. I love you. This is Aunt Jem. God has kept you and I'm very confident he will continue being with you.
Hi, Lolita. This is Uncle
Keith speaking, and I hope you'll be successful in life in whatever you choose to do.
This is Aunt Marva. Hello, Lolita. Congratulations. You're a shining star in the midst of darkness. Keep shining, girl. God bless you.
I'm glad you mentioned the impact he played in that, specifically the voice, that role, that voice that you hear that is his based on his words. And it's almost like you've built this foundation of being that voice for many of us, leading us even when you're not there, so that we have those voices that we can pull from and say, hey, okay, Lolita said when you have this going on, maybe you should do it like this.
This is Felisa with FLP Global Services. Felisa loves people. I think of you even when you are not here, and I always hear you in my head, challenging myself and to keep what's most important to me first.
Those are some of the things that I take away from my dad, and just this push and this drive that he had for me, for my brother, for the expectations of us just reaching even higher than where he was able to be. When we think about our parents or the people that have raised us, although we might not say it then, it's either when they're gone or we leap and we're out on our own that we really come back to these cores of who we are. And even as I sit here now and there's tears flowing from my eyes, you just really don't even, you can't even put it into words how much someone impacts you. And I just hope that I'm able to do that for so many others and to tap into them to pull out the greatness that I know is inside.
Let me count the ways that I've been impacted by Lolita Walker. First of all, that TED Talk, it was powerful. And your words were so, they were just, you took us through your journey, but you also let us know how we could do it ourselves. That's what I appreciate so much about you, Lolita. You bring us along too. You never hide the ball. You share. When I was getting ready to launch my podcast, you shared everything that you learned. You have put me on, helped me with marketing, assisted me in joining other shows. Everybody doesn't give and spread love that much. You really do care that other people get lifted. Thank you so very much.
I'm LaShawn Jai of the Saba Sanctuary. First of all, I love her energy and her confidence. Second of all, she's an excellent listener and a motivational speaker who has helped me to do the work of self-discovery to uncover my best self.
Woo! In your post, they make me laugh. They make me smile. I feel like, is she just talking to me? I feel like, did God just tell Lolita to make that post so my life would be better?
And that's why this episode is so special, because as we turn the tables, we learn your why as you help us explore our whys.
I wanted to thank you for all the stuff you've done for me, really, over time. Way back in Gillette, I always loved our conversations, the authenticity of them. You're always a very inspiring person to me to listen to and engage in, and I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. So my next question is about our celebration right here and right now. It's your 43rd birthday.
This is Amor.
This is Felicia Thomas.
It's Paulette Simone.
This is Marty.
This is Monica Cost.
It is Sophia. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lolo.
Happy birthday.
Happy 43rd birthday, because you're looking good at 43. You ain't falling apart just yet.
Enjoy your day, girl.
What would you say? Yes, girl, yes. Mm-hmm. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment to date?
It's writing my book. It is writing the intersection of you and change. This book, for those folks who are listening in and haven't had the opportunity to read it, this book is 17 stops of self-discovery. And what it does is it starts you at Journey Junction and takes you all the way to Gratitude Gateway. There's places in there like Communication Circle and Accountability Alley. It's you on this train ride and you're stopping at all of these places and really you're discovering you. The sum of me sharing a little bit of a story and a little bit about the stop, but it's also a workbook that challenges your thinking at the same time.
I highly suggest you read her book. Some great tools for you there. And her podcasts are entertaining and delightful. You can't listen to them and not have a good day.
I'm gifting these exercises of imagery so that you can challenge your thinking just a little bit. As an author, for anyone who has written a book or those who are thinking about writing a book, the joy of having your words in your hand and being able to see that and then being able to hear from others the impact of it, it's just a feeling that is just undescribable.
I could only imagine how many people you've inspired to get their writing out on paper and see that dream to fruition.
Hello, my name is Waida Cox, and I'm the author of Please Abuse Me, Said No One. I can truly say that I wrote those words, that I was going to be a published author by the end of 2020. And I can truly say from my heart that this would have never happened if I didn't receive all the encouragement, the positive affirmations. Thank you for all that you have done to push me toward my dream.
It's so exciting. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's funny when you turn the tables, how much you do see of yourself, because you're giving so much all the time that, I talk about the power in your pause. It's not until you stop and you're on the other side. So you're answering the questions, and it's just, what's filling me right now is just this sense of pride and accomplishment and joy. And it's so powerful to celebrate your wins.
And talking about celebrating our wins, let's talk about your podcast. Your podcast is about helping people leap farther than where they were. My question is, when was a time when you believe you were able to do that with someone?
I'd like to think that in every episode, there's someone out there that has taken this and said, you know what? I hadn't thought about it like that. I am going to shift how I'm thinking right now.
I recently listened to one of your podcasts. I think it was a special one where it was about say your name and your son's name. And that was very moving to me. All the things that you think about, all the things that you're going through and how you're taking care of your son in the process. So I found that very moving.
Just watching you achieve your goals and listening to your podcast gives me the inspiration to push past my quit.
Whether it's me doing an exercise where I'm saying, hey, you're standing literally on a foundation. Are there cracks inside of it? Right? That was episode number 1. Or when your courage meets your fear and you grab your armor of courage that's right beside you. These tides are coming in. How is there healing after your storm? There's always something in some imagery that you might not have looked at it that way first, but now it shifts you. It'll come back to you and you're like, you know what? That was the exercise. This is what I'm doing right here. This is what I need to be doing now. I hope that what I'm doing is being able to help people think differently as they walk this thing called life.
Exactly. And it's so inspiring. It's almost like going to church, because you may go to church on Sunday and realize, I have heard this scripture, but then you hear it a different way. You feel it a different way. And it's a gift when someone can bring that message to you and help you revisit, even if it's not new information, revisit those core understandings that are going to help you live your best moment.
She is a leadership with a heart.
I had the pleasure of having 2 wonderful, life-changing experiences with Lolita Walker. The first was attending a men's retreat in Maryland. And this was a chance for a bunch of fellas to get together and really just connect and vibe and look at our lives differently. Lolita came in and really, we were all apprehensive. None of us had ever done anything like this before. We had never created a vision board. We had never created personal self-affirmations. And she came in and really walked us through these exercises, and I've never been the same ever since. I've got a vision board on my office. I make fun of myself for having one, but I'm proud. I'm super proud of it. My second experience was I invited Lolita to New York City to speak at our annual employee retreat. She came in and did a similar exercise for the staff. Just from the moment she starts to the moment she ends, it's never enough time. She's so amazing, so smart. She's got such a great set of frameworks, and she can really help any organization, any person. I love to hear her speak, whether it's on a TEDx or whether it's through her podcast. I'm just super happy. Lolita, you're a gem. You're a gift to this world.
This is Joy from the Joy Sutton Show podcast. When I think about Lolita's gift and her ability to transform the lives of her clients, I am in awe of all that she's able to do. Not only is she just gifted in her ability and her intuitive ability break past barriers, but she also is just a wealth of knowledge and expertise. And you get that from listening to her podcast. When I had her on my podcast and when I was on her podcast, one thing that stood out is people kept saying, "Who is Lolita? She is amazing."
Your road to 43 has no doubt had its ups, celebrations, accolades. But you know what I want us to talk about?
What?
The downs, the steps to the side, the things that took your breath away a little bit. Let's talk about those stumbling blocks and hardships. And possibly, have there been times where you got stuck and there was no easy way out?
Absolutely, with the hard questions, yes. And when I look back, there has absolutely been downs on this journey to 43. I can probably think of 3 distinct times where I have had what I would call downs in my life. And when I say downs, I mean these took me out. The first one, and in no particular order, the first one is my dad's death. I was still functioning day to day. And I think the adrenaline of needing to be there for my mom was exactly me just jumping in a place like, boom, I got to do this. You know, you get this energy, this boost. And when you lose someone in your life, that gap doesn't get filled. And I think it wasn't until later that I even was able to pause. And it happened over time. It was like on the side of the road, I would just start crying, or I'll hear a song and I would just start crying, or I would need help with a paper. And when I picked up the phone, I would want to call him and he wasn't there. So there was that. The second is my divorce. I think that definitely hit me emotionally, mentally more than what I imagined at the onset. And then the third is a relationship where you feel betrayed, like someone has done you wrong when you know in your heart that you would never have done them that way, a friendship. And with all of those, you know, I look back at it and as I'm talking about it now, I really see loss in each of them. You know, whether it's intimate, whether it's friendship, whether it's just somebody that's been in your life for a long time, I think that the common thread is a loss. And that's tough to bear. When I say it took me out, it really had me questioning why. Why did this happen? Did it deserve to happen to me? I would never do that to somebody else, especially in a relationship ones. I mean, when we talk about grief, the person is not coming back.
So how did you move forward? And how, or I guess, did you grow from these experiences?
Yeah, honestly, talking, acknowledging, and quite frankly, the wins. And for grief specifically, you know, I believe through faith that God lends us his children on this earth for only a limited time. And there will be a time that each of us are not here, which is another reason why this episode means so much to me. Just thinking back to allowing those fond memories to get me through these difficult times, and then leaning on one of the pieces of my core foundation, which is faith, is how I am able to navigate grief. Now, when it comes to relationships in the here and now, what was important for me, and quite frankly still is important, is thinking about the relationship and acknowledging where I was hurt, acknowledging the pieces of the puzzle that were no longer there for me. And it took a while. And when I was able to acknowledge those and say them aloud, sometimes without crying, when I was able to really do that is when I was able to really start the process of forgiveness for me, healing for me, and then celebrating the wins that's in it. Because the reality is there are wins in every relationship. I believe that firmly. And when I could just celebrate like, boom, this is all the greatness that came out of that relationship. This is like so great. And now here are the things that I know for sure that I wouldn't go back and do again. It's like so many lessons out of it. And I think when you can walk in a spirit of forgiveness, not acceptance that what they did was okay to you, not a rejection of your feelings, but you're able to then move forward. And I think that that is super great. You know, I did an episode on Forgiveness Freeway, episode 8. And I also did one on writing and owning your journey, which is so important to me, especially just kind of as I grow older and wiser. And even as I have more experiences, my mindset begins to shift. Now there's an opportunity to see that you're actually looking at the world through a different lens and knowing that everybody doesn't grow the same time in the same way. You know, grass doesn't even grow the same time in the same way. And grass is such an important piece of our lives, strangely enough, whether we know it or not.
What would you say to anyone that's listening right now in the middle of an experience similar to what you've gone through in life that really did take your breath away?
I would say, how do you want to live your most be free? In what space do you want to live that? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be doing? And are the people in your life helping you to get to that most be free space? When you are your most happy and joyful and at a calm, who are the people in your space, in your circle, at your playground that can help to foster that in you, that can help pull the greatness out of you? Like, who are those people? And if those people are not those at your playground, then maybe it's time that you get on your train and move your train forward. I think it's a lot of self-reflection, and all of what you find is not going to be great. That's the thing. And it's hard as hell. And it's tough to sometimes move your train out of the station and think that you're leaving folks behind. I mean, let's talk about doubt. Let's talk about fear. Let's talk about all of these things. Let's talk about the years of friendship, the years of time, resource, energy that you gifted and put into this person. I would challenge us to look at it differently and say, thank you for those years. And now what I've recognized is that through my growth, I'm going to be moving my train from the station. And it's okay.
You're right about that. Sometimes one train is leaving the station because it's time, but what we don't know is another one is pulling right up. Sometimes that train has to leave the station in order for your opportunity to come. That next train is coming around the corner to let you in for your next journey.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to make room. Absolutely. So good. And you know, you and I have traveled together. And if you just think about on those nights when you're able to just sit on a beach and just look out and listen to the waves, where does your mind take you? And how often do we really sit in that place and allow ourselves to just pause and let our thoughts just take us somewhere else? Sometimes it's scary as hell, right? Leap into what's uncomfortable so that there's awareness and then there's a willingness to get to action, right? I call it AWA, but there's this awareness, this willingness, and this action that you want to take because there's more to be unleashed from inside of you.
And I'm so glad you brought up that discomfort because let's talk fear because it's real, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think is one fear that is still before you today?
I think a fear that is before me is how big of an impact that I can absolutely make. There's fear of success, and that is real. It's this fear of, are you ready to leap 5 times from where you are right now? I know you're ready to leap 1. I know you're ready to leap 2. But if tomorrow brings you this leap of 5 times where you are, you've got to know that you're ready. And sometimes, like everyone, your foundation is shaky and you start to question yourself like, am I really ready? Can I really do that for this person? And just reminding yourself, hell yeah, absolutely. I am built for this time right now. So I think my fear is the leap 5 steps from now. And for me to grab my courage, that's my action, right? My willingness to want to say yes, to grab my courage and say, you got this thing. But yes, that is a fear of success, I think is how I would answer that.
That is deep, but we know you're ready.
I'm ready, girl.
Yes.
Come here, 43.
This is your friend Barry. This is Ricardo.
My name is Sarah Pierre-Lewis.
This is Sonia Williams.
My name is Dr. Joanne Fedrick of JFL and Associates Counseling Services.
Yes, come on, bring it on. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say?
Be free. And when I say be free, I mean let go of what someone told you of the why you can't do something. It's supposed to be like this. This is how we've always done it. No, you can't do that. Oh, you have to ask permission from this person. Like, let that stuff go, because what it does is it inhibits you. It holds you handcuffed from what it is that is already inside of you. I say that also believing that everything happens for a reason in a season, and God puts in place what he wants you to have in that moment. But if I knew what I knew now back then, oh my goodness, all of those limiting fears, all of those limiting factors, all those limiting beliefs keep you from movement.
It shows in your passion for helping us to be free, your desire to make sure everyone knows this and they're not shackled by that.
Yes, yes, yes. Come through. It's like we have this one life, okay? This one life that we are living in. While we are here, we need to be able to utilize it to the best of our ability. Now, of course, I have traveled around the world. I have done that. But let me give you a for instance. I lived in Germany for 9 months for work. And I did go to Amsterdam. I did travel to a couple of nearby places. But had I known what I know now, there was fear that I didn't want to do it by myself. It was like, oh, I need somebody to visit so then we can go to this, neighboring country. And there were so many places that I would have visited, but honestly, it was fear that kept me in my room. Let me go back now. It would be different, right? I would tell my younger self, be free, explore, right? Explore the endless possibilities that are out there, because you don't know if you'll ever be back.
Which is true. And, I've always been wondering, is there a quote you live by? Because you will come up with an analogy, a poem.
I do live by
a rhyme.
I know. I live by a quote by Mary Ann Hershey. And it says, the jump is so frightening between where I am and where I want to be. Because of all I may become, I will close my eyes and leap. I love it, because those times when you're fearful, those times when you just don't know, those times where success is that fear, right? 5 times from now, it's like jump off of this cliff because of all of the endless possibilities that are out there. It says, because of all I may become, I will close my eyes and I will leap. I know that there's more in me. You know that there's more in you. And let's see what's out there for you.
I love it too. When I hear it now, definitely I'm going to identify with you, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's all you, girl.
Yes,
she was talking to you. She was preaching to you.
She was talking right to me. I've got to get her on a podcast.
Yes, that would be lovely, actually.
Wouldn't it? This year at 43. Anybody out there know Mary Ann Hershey? Well, I am looking to get her on a podcast. So call a friend who knows a friend.
We got to give the people what they came for.
All right.
Your listeners want to turn the tables on you.
Okay.
And ask you the same questions that you ask all of your guests. Get in the hot seat. Is the seat hot?
Seat. I'm like, what are those questions again?
Well, I have 3 that we are going to make sure you answer.
Okay.
What is one strength that you have that you didn't always recognize was a strength?
Lolita is a powerhouse woman.
You are by far one of the most impactful women that I have met on this planet.
She's so encouraging. I feel better about whatever I'm grappling with.
You are a success because of your passion.
Loving, giving, supportive friend as well as line sister.
She makes you a better person. It's that simple. She has the amazing ability to focus you on identifying your strengths, on finding the root cause of your obstacles, and using those strengths to overcome them.
Lolita, you have inspired me even without knowing.
You are awe-inspiring in so many different ways. For you to leave the comfort and the luxuries of the corporate world and the security that brings, and to jump out with a leap of faith, believing in yourself to power that dream it's just amazing. I'm so proud of you.
I didn't always know that failures were strengths. I knew that there's always lessons in failure, but I didn't quite put my finger on the fact that failures can be strengths. And it's a matter of your perspective, of how you look at that failure and how now you use that to help you leap. Articulating your failures is what the strength is. being able to talk about them and owning them, being able to not be ashamed of what those failures were. Like, you don't have to hide the fact that you failed on this or you didn't meet your goal. Let's talk about it, because it's when you talk about it that you now have the opportunity for someone else to help you, and it kind of releases some of you right now as well.
And the power in just being able to help people articulate their fears and their failures and to grow from it. And not only theirs, but from your own sometimes, because when you can tell someone from personal experience, yeah, I tripped over that rock too, but it's okay. I got up and you can too. It's very powerful for us as human beings to know that it's okay.
It is okay.
So I would agree. It's definitely one of your strengths, making us feel comfortable in our flaws and growing from any of our weaknesses or what we perceive as a weakness.
Absolutely.
And there's just something about her that's different and special. She just has this voice that is just soothing to your soul. Like, Lolita has this way of like tapping into the essence of who you are in your soul and just moving you to action.
What's one barrier that stands before you right now?
Look, we give great advice, right? I'm certified to coach. I give awesome advice and help you move forward. And sometimes I don't take my own advice. Sometimes I have to check myself and say, okay, you just did a whole podcast on this. Like, why aren't you doing it? What is standing before me is really the delegating and the disappearing, right? I talk about this DAD principle, giving the work to someone else who's able to do it. And that's their space. I have, for instance, the transcripts to these podcasts. Do you know I was trying to do those myself? Child, I finally said, listen here, young lady, there is someone in this world that does this for a profession. Please outsource that. And it has just been a weight lifted. It's nothing like having the core of the work done. And look at all of that time and energy and frustration that is saving me. So really just delegating and disappearing some of the tasks that I know I don't physically need to be there to do for them to be done effectively and efficiently.
I love that. Delegating and disappearing. So I'm sitting here, I'm the interviewer, but I'm like, where's my pencil? Because I need to take a note. Delegate and disappear. No. You're asking the questions. Get back on. Don't let her turn the table on you.
Don't let her turn the table.
You get back in your hot seat.
Love it.
Another question. I wrote down 3, so this is our third. What's one cheers that you would say to those listening in?
Here is a cheers to you living another birthday year.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Big shout out to PG County. You know.
Here is a cheers to recognizing and owning all of who you are. I love it. My 40s have been so transformational for me. I tell you, the more and more I grow in these 40s, it is just so exciting. And this interview, honestly, has been such a refresher. I feel really good. I shed a couple tears, laughed a whole lot, got to celebrate some wins, got to hang out with Carla B.
How's it feel on the other side of the table? That's really the question.
You know, you make yourself vulnerable. Sometimes you think you know what the answer is going to be, but when you're in the moment and you're really truthful, something else completely comes out. Like those tears. I'm like, where did they come from?
Like you said, even when you know it's coming, we have done retreats together, and I have absolutely had the pleasure of being on the other side, a soundboard when you were putting things together. So I knew it was coming, but it's still a very vulnerable place. I found that if you trust the process, you will grow.
Trust the process. I'm glad you brought up the retreats. I can't believe I haven't talked about those, because when you talk about accomplishments, that there is such a big one for me.
In 2019, I was at a crossroads in my life where I had just got out of a very bad, verbally abusive relationship. My whole self-esteem, everything inside of me was crushed, and I was trying to find me again. When I came across, just by coincidence, and probably was more like divine intervention, I was scrolling on Facebook and I came across Lolita. And the more I looked up and found out who she was and what she was doing, I immediately felt that I had to attend that retreat. It was a sacrifice, but I needed to invest in me to find myself again. And I'm telling you, from the moment I drove up that road, I felt all the weight that I had been carrying inside of me lift. And when she opened that door and invited me in, my heart was ready to receive whatever she was pouring in. And I'm telling you, that whole experience was a game changer for me.
I've been to 2 retreats and, I was in the background, but I got to tell you, your retreats were amazing, simply amazing.
But really got the opportunity to engage with her during a virtual retreat that was held this year. And engage is probably not the best word. It really is to be embraced, to learn from, to grow from, to really have her be an integral part of my life through that weekend. I will say I actually entered that session not knowing what to expect, wanting to invest in myself, my growth, my personal development, to create a pause in my life. And I left there full. I left there completely full of possibilities, ideas, tools, new people in my life to help drive me, to help promote me, to help push me forward. And for that, I'll be forever grateful.
I talked about my book, but I must say that these retreats are life-changing, even for myself.
My name is Vivian Nelson, and I am a real estate agent in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. The breakthroughs, the connections, the laughter, the cries, tears we all had at that retreat, the memories will last forever.
My name is Joy. I was privileged to go to a retreat that Lolita hosted. And from that retreat, I learned a lot of things about myself. I changed after that retreat. Since then, I've suffered a loss, a great loss. I lost my husband of 36 years. It is a very devastating, emotionally draining situation. But I have had the privilege to be counseled by Lolita. She has kept me out of the hole that I was in with this loss. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have her inspiring words these past few months. During the retreat, I was able to complete a vision board. When I first looked at it, I said, I'm not going to be able to accomplish it. But it's amazing how writing that stuff down and verbalizing it brought everything a complete circle, and everything that was on my board, I have accomplished.
For all of the experts that come, for all of the graduates that's there.
Hello, Lolita. It is Sophia. Our friendship runs deep, and I am grateful that you have included me in the Walker and Walker retreats, because if I'm truly honest, I walk away with so much more for myself every time I participate.
These retreats, people ask me all the time, how did they come about? I woke up and I had been to retreats and there was always something missing. Guess what? I'm having a retreat and I know exactly what I would want in a retreat. And that's what a busy woman will want when she shows up. This is a place where you are for 4 days and you literally show up. There's a chef that's there. There's experts that's there. There are workshops. There's exercise that's happening. There's a choice to stay in the bed if you want to. It's a beautiful grounds. It's just somewhere that you can literally pause and just withdraw from your everyday so that you can be poured into and just prepare yourself once again for going back out into the world. But this time with new and improved strategies. That's what I get from the retreat. I mean, you've been to the retreat. So what do you get from the retreat?
Everything you described and more. It's an opportunity to reflect, have fun. I mean, the chef is always at the top of my wish list. The nature, the landscape, company, and the growth, because I know I will grow in a safe space. You will keep the environment welcoming and healthy. And it's always a phenomenal experience. It's definitely something. It's on the must-do for a busy woman.
And I'm planning another virtual retreat in February, and that's a day and a half. I'm pulling pieces of the in-person retreat, although it's not the same as being able to hug someone. And I will say that folks are walking away and doing some amazing things, flowing with the changes that's happening in life. How are we going to keep up and shift our businesses, shift our lives a little differently so that we're still able to follow our passions while still giving back to others? So, yay.
Absolutely. So grab your laptops and get that do not enter sign for the door.
Yes.
Or book that hotel room so you can have your space safely and comfortably and get ready to grow, right?
Yes, I love it.
Get back in your hot seat. How are you celebrating your big day on November 1st?
So I must say, my celebration, I will absolutely wake up and listen to this podcast. I don't know. My son is going to be in Boston, so I'm just going to enjoy the day, the week, the month.
And you starting at the first of the month, so you have all November.
Absolutely.
You'll be celebrating and giving Thanksgiving. So yes.
I'm giving thanks all month.
You always light up a room. And I know that's an expression, but you literally walk into a room and bring so much life and positive energy, not just energy. People gravitate towards you. And that is something you cannot buy, package, or you just can't duplicate it. So it is nice that you take the time and opportunity to impart these best practices for others, because you can be that voice, the voice that we want in our head, right? And not the voice that's telling us other things. But I do have a question.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
Work. What do I do for fun? Well, I am such a social being. I really am. I love connecting with folks, whether it is cocktails and conversations, Zoom, just to hang out with friends, or FaceTime. I'm trying to connect with someone. I'm going to someone's house who I feel is safe, and I know what they've been doing during this coronacation. I find ways to get out. My Be Free is really around water and trees. So I find myself there. And that is fun to me. Hanging out with my son and going somewhere where we can look up at the trees, or just kind of chill in the car, put our feet up and eat something, it brings me a sense of calm and a sense of peace. When I'm connecting with others, it just makes me feel good inside. That's where I find my smiles. That's where I can release. That's where I could be my most authentic self. And I love it.
Wonderful. I mean, we can tell because when you walk in a room, it looks like you're genuinely having fun. So I'm sure your listeners were like, well, what does she do outside of that? No, that is it.
I go to somebody's house and I'm like, hey, listen, we can sit down and watch TV together. That's all I need to do with a cocktail, honey. That is it.
On next year's birthday, what will you have accomplished?
That's good. By 44, so by November 1st of 2021, my TED Talk was so transformational for me. I would love to be back on an international platform where I am spreading my message of leading and learning differently, sitting in your pause, whether it's this busy woman that I'm speaking to, or a large audience, or a diverse team. I really want to be in that space. So that's one accomplishment. I will be on an international platform somewhere. My son will be 9. I don't know what 9 brings, so we're just going to go with the 4. He's my one and only. I don't know what you're doing at 9, but something. We're gonna claim something around that space. And my second book will be out.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, my dear, because there is a space on my coffee table for that next book. And I know it's going to come with the knowledge and the journey that has been in between, because I've had the pleasure of experiencing some of it with you, but the rest of the world is waiting, my dear.
Yes,
they are waiting.
I'm so excited. I want to be in spaces where I am the go-to that organizations call on and individuals call on when they are really ready to shift, to lead differently, to pull out the best of themselves. I want to be that person that an organization or a person working in an organization says, you know who is going to come in here and going to get us on the right track effectively, efficiently, and while we having a bit of fun? That's Lolita. Let's call her up. That's what I'm claiming for 2021.
I want to thank you again for the work that you did at the men's retreat with Mervyn Bourne that I was at.
And I would like to wholeheartedly recommend her for group coaching, individual coaching, and definitely corporate coaching. She has, in the past couple years, taught whole bunches of groups of women from Women Hold the Key to pause, find the power in their pause, to shift, and to focus.
This has been honestly so amazing.
Look, only for you, my dear. Only you. Only you. Let me tell you, it's good to be that type of person. You are a type of person that will make many of us say whatever you need, and be that person. Because if that's what you need, you got it.
Hey, this is Lolita. I cannot thank you enough. This episode has been the birthday, honestly, of my dreams. And it's still not over. Here comes some more juicy stuff. To hear the wins, to hear how I've impacted you, let me just say, sometimes we just don't pause and listen and really enjoy someone else pouring into you. And I just say thank you, because it's not often that I am able to hear from others. When you're giving so much, you sometimes don't get as much. And I find comfort in knowing that, guess what? It is still a party to be had.
Happy birthday, Lolita. I'm so proud of you, so happy of where you are going. Keep doing good things and keep rocking that Black girl magic. This is Nicole. Love you.
So I appreciate each and every one of you who have taken the time to send a message. Thank you to all of you all who have trusted me on your journey and allowed Walker & Walker Enterprises to come into your hearts and your homes and your lives.
I'm ready to quit my job because when you go on Ellen, I am your bodyguard. And also, I just need me a pair of N1s. I can't wait to see you on Ellen and help her get herself together because she needs all the help in the world. Let me know when I can come over to the compound and enjoy living a lovely life.
Yes, you have given me tears. Let me tell you, tears, okay? You have made me laugh. You have made me smile. You have made me reminisce. This right here, turning 43 in this year of 2020, for me, has been amazing, and it has been a ride. And thank you for being right here.
You go, girl, mama.
There is no doubt that you are going places, young lady. Rock out.
This is Sonia Jackson Miles, founder of the Sister Accord and Dream Walking. Watching you bring your dream to life is making my heart smile. Continue to walk in your dreams and design your destiny.
Soar Lolita. When I see you, I see happiness. So when you see happiness, you want to strive to be happy because you exude that, and keep doing what you're doing because you are a blessing to others.
My dear friend Lolita, I miss our days of co-hosting the Now We're Talking radio show together, and I cannot wait to see you at the top.
You have really helped me in regards to my goal setting, prioritizing things in my life. So I really do appreciate and thank you for all you've done. And I pray that abundance will be overflowing for you in the years to come. Love you.
I love you tremendously for allowing me to see the person that I was always meant to be.
This is Lolita. I appreciate each of you. We have concluded another episode of Coaching, Cocktails, and Conversations with Lolita E. Walker. Connect with me at lolitawalker.com for speaking, coaching, and my book, The Intersection of You and Change. Next time, bring a friend. Cheers.